They said it loud enough for the whole barracks to hear. Double quotes, F***CK off. New girl. Laughter followed. Not nervous laughter. Not awkward laughter. The kind that comes when people think they're untouchable. She didn't react. She stood there with her duffel bag resting against her boot, shoulders relaxed, eyes steady. Her name patch still looked too clean. No scars. No stories written on her face, yet at least none they could read. That's why they underestimated her. The first shove came from behind. She staggered forward, caught herself, and slowly turned around. 4 of them, big, loud, confident, men who had survived basic training and thought that made them kings. You lost. One of them sneered. This isn't a yoga retreat. Another stepped closer, breath heavy with arrogance. You don't belong here. She could have spoken. She could have explained. She didn't. Because warriors don't announce themselves. The second shove was harder. She hit the concrete this time. The sound echoed. A few nearby soldiers stopped walking. Nobody intervened. Nobody ever does at the beginning of stories like this. One of them laughed and nudged her bag with his boot. Maybe she quit before lunch. She stood up slowly. Too slowly. That's when the punch came. No warning. No honor. Straight to the mouth. There was a sickening crack. Pain exploded across her face as she fell again. This time tasting blood. Teeth scattered across the concrete like broken promises. Someone whistled. Damn, a voice said. Guess she's done. They thought the story ended there. They were wrong. She lay on the ground, staring at the sky. Not crying, not screaming. Counting. Breath in, breath out. Pain was nothing new. Pain was familiar. Pain was a language she spoke fluently. Her mind didn't go to fear. It went to training. The cold ocean at 3 a.m. The weight of the ruck digging into her spine. The instructor's voice screaming inches from her face. Pain is information. Use it. She rolled onto her side and pushed herself up. Blood ran down her chin. Her mouth felt wrong, broken, but her eyes had changed and the room felt it. One of the men frowned. You still standing? She wiped her mouth with the back of her hand, looked at the blood, then back at him. For the first time, she smiled. It wasn't friendly. It was lethal. What they didn't know, what no one had bothered to ask, was where she came from. They didn't know about the black belt earned before she was old enough to vote. They didn't know about the underground fights where quitting wasn't an option. They didn't know about the selection course that broke men twice her size. They didn't know she was trained to end violence quickly. They only knew they were bored. One of them stepped forward again. Big mistake. She moved. Not fast, precise. Her elbow snapped up into his throat. Not hard, perfect. He dropped, choking, hands clawing at the air. Before the others reacted, she turned, swept the leg of the second man, and drove her knee into his ribs as he fell. You could hear the air leave his lungs, like a balloon popped by a needle. The third one swung wildly. She slipped inside the punch, twisted his arm, and slammed his face into the wall. Once, twice. The fourth froze. That hesitation saved him from worse. She stopped, breathing, steady. The courtyard was silent. Now. No laughter. No comments. Just bodies on the ground and a woman standing in blood-stained fatigues. Calm as a still lake. Someone whispered, "What the hell is she?" She looked at them all. And finally spoke. "You should have walked away." Sirens followed. Medics. Command. Questions. The 4 men were taken away on stretchers. One with a crushed windpipe, one with broken ribs, one unconscious, one shaking so badly he couldn't speak. She sat on the steps while a medic examined her mouth. "You've lost teeth," he said gently. "I know. Why didn't you report the first assault?" She met his eyes. Because this wasn't about paperwork. It was about respect. Later that day, she stood in front of the commanding officer. He studied her file in silence. Longer than usual. Black belt, he murmured. Combat certifications. Top percentile in every physical assessment. He finally looked up. "Why didn't you disclose your background?" She answered simply. "Because I wanted to be treated like everyone else." The officer leaned back slowly. "They assaulted you first." "Yes, sir." "And you neutralized them?" "Yes, sir, efficiently." "Yes, sir." He closed the file. "You're cleared." A pause. Then he added, "And welcome to the unit. Seal." Word spread fast. Not the details. Just the warning. "Don't mess with her." The whispers changed tone. Not mockery anymore. Respect. Distance. Fear. She walked the halls with missing teeth and a quiet authority no rank could give. No one shoved her again. No one laughed. Because they learned something that day. The most dangerous people don't look dangerous. They don't talk loud. They don't brag. They don't threaten. They endure until they don't have to anymore. And somewhere in that barracks, long after the bruises faded and the stories turned into legends, one truth remained. They didn't break her. They revealed her. And once revealed, she was unstoppable.